The Space Stone had many owners. At first, it was Odin who hid it on Earth in Tonsberg, Norway, due to how it was an unknown planet without advanced intelligence. In 1942, Johann Schmidt, aka Red Skull, used it in his war efforts for Hydra. Ultimately, after his defeat by Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, it fell into the Arctic when Cap crashed the plane to prevent the Red Skull from using it. Eventually, Howard Stark found it and hid it in New Jersey. It was then used in Project Pegasus by a Kree scientist, Marvell, who hid it in her orbital laboratory. Yon-Rogg found out about her work and decided to kill her and steal the Tesseract, but Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, stopped him. Goose, an alien Flurkin disguised as a cat, managed to swallow it up before she could get it, though. Later, Goose puked it back out on Nick Fury's desk. It once again got stolen by Loki in the first Avengers film. Once he was defeated, the Tesseract was taken back to Asgard and held there until its destruction before it finally ended up with Thanos, who truly harnessed its potential in the Infinity Gauntlet. The stone is capable of an extreme amount. Red Skull used it to fuel an advanced line of Hydra weaponry, discarding the Third Reich entirely. It was used to power the Lightspeed engine as well, a device capable of faster-than-light travel. Loki used it to teleport the Chitauri army. The Space Stone can't be used by everyone. Touching it can outright kill you. It's implied it has intelligence. It specifically chose to send Red Skull to Vormir as a punishment for abusing its strength. It can create portals and wormholes to anywhere in the universe, but its real powers shine under someone who's mastered it. Thanos could selectively teleport people, manipulate spatial energy to crush, pull, and freeze opponents, could turn objects incorporeal, and even manipulate the fragments of the gateway to the mirror dimension, compressing them, creating a force with a black hole-like effect he used against Strange. Its greatest strength, however, is when it's used with the other stones in the Infinity Gauntlet. The Space Stone is what allows the powers of the rest of the stones to affect the entire universe, essentially facilitating the snap. The Mind Stone, it's never properly explained how the scepter ended up housing the Mind Stone, or how it ended up in Thanos' hands. What we do know is that Thanos ended up passing the scepter onto Loki in preparation for his Chitauri invasion. After said invasion was stopped in the Battle of New York, Hydra confiscated the staff, using it for research at the Sokovian Hydra research base, using it to give incredible powers to a pair of twins, Wanda and Pietro Maximoff. Once Hydra fell, the Avengers found the scepter. Tony Stark and Bruce Banner experimented with it to complete the Ultron program, who, after being created, eventually took the scepter and shattered the gem casing, unveiling the Mind Stone. From here, it was used to create Vision, and up until Infinity War, Vision kept it as a part of him, before it was extracted by Thanos during the Battle of Wakanda, which killed Vision. Now, as you all know, Thanos decimated the stones after using them for the snap, but Wanda Maximoff decided to make a hex to bring Vision back. This hex was essentially a recreation of Vision and the Mind Stone. Note that this should not actually be taken as her recreating the Mind Stone itself, as that would be a cosmic-level feat, which is more than she can do. This stone is particularly unique because inside, there's an extremely advanced artificial intelligence. It's capable enough to act on its own. In the first Avengers, it's shown to intensify an argument between all of them, particularly Captain America, who couldn't stop asking Tony to put the suit on so they could go a few rounds. Bruce also kept losing his composure while holding it. It also deliberately warned Loki about Thanos, and it amplified Loki's hatred of Thor and humanity without him realizing. This intelligence is also what grants sentience to and powers Ultron and Vision's IQ. It can even project the consciousness of its user to faraway places, like when Loki talked to the other, a servant of Thanos. The stone can enlighten users through visions and specific secret knowledge, such as what it did for Barton and Eric Selvig. Eric even received visions of other dimensions. Loki could also use it to shift the scepter's form, turning it into a battle spear. Vision could also shapeshift his entire vibranium body, which suggests the stone has some degree of reality warping, but offensively, it can throw out beams and blasts of pure energy. So far, this is the only stone to act as independently as it does. Reality Stone. The reality stone is sometimes a liquid, sometimes a solid. This stone has no fixed shape. It's known as the ether to Asgardians and Dark Elves, a deep red liquid that shapes the reality around it. Its shape and use highly depend on the wielder.
Ha! Gay!
Malekith, king of the Dark Elves, used it to turn matter into dark matter, only possible because he harnessed its power into the form of the ether, with the ultimate goal of taking everything back to Ginnungagap, or an infinite void. It could have completely won the war in 2988 BC between the Dark Elves and the Asgardians. But with Asgard's victory, it was ultimately sealed for 5,000 years. Jane Foster ended up accidentally discovering it when she stepped into a portal leading to it opened up by the Convergence, a once-in-a-millennia cosmic event due to Yggdrasil's realms being aligned perfectly, creating portals throughout the universe. The stone reacted to Jane and ended up bonding with and possessing her. Think of how the symbiote works. It stayed with her until Malekith extracted it from Foster, using the ether to battle Thor across several different worlds. Despite his use of the stone, Thor defeated Malekith. After recovering the stone, Asgard handed it to the Collector for safety, where Thanos solidified it into a stone, through his will, and stole it. Thanos showed different uses of the stone. He turned Gamora's knife to bubbles, preventing her from suicide, created illusions of himself to trap the Guardians, and turned Drax and Mantis into stone. Besides changing matter, he also cancelled Strange's dimensional gate with it. It's shown to be able to affect the fabric of reality itself, and nothing seems to escape its powers. The Power Stone was housed inside the orb, an artifact built to contain it due to its destructive power. This stone is the scariest. It represents the primordial destructive nature of the universe, and as such, at full power, it can destroy an entire planet with one blast. That makes it all the more dangerous to wield. Once, a group of 8 beings tried to use its power, but ended up being vaporized by it. The Collector's assistant also tried to kill him with it, destroying herself and much of his museum, though he lived. The orb was eventually kept secret on the planet Morag, where it was stolen by Peter Quill, who attempted to sell it to the broker unaware that it's an Infinity Stone. Ronan has showcased many uses of the stone. His universal weapon was shown to be able to harness and unleash its power, which Ronan believed was more than enough to allow him to discard Thanos as an ally and kill him. Interestingly, the Mad Titan had no response. He destroyed the entire Nova Corps fleet with it and took the Guardians down with one blast. Though the stone's indestructible, the universal weapon wasn't. After Drax and Rocket managed to destroy it, in the split second when Peter Quill caught it, the stone let out a violent burst of flame-like energy which threatened to destroy everything around it, including Quill, even though he's half celestial himself. It's easier to use the stone in a group, so the burden can be shared, as shown by the Guardians redirecting its energy to destroy Ronan. Thanos used it to take down several heroes such as Nebula, Gamora, Drax, and Quill. Even Iron Man and Spider-Man had no answer to it. Captain America, Bucky, and even Captain Marvel barely did better, getting knocked away instantaneously. The stone's real power was shown when Thanos used it to completely crush Titan's moon. Combining its strength with others, like the Space Stones, allowed Thanos to repurpose energy, such as making a beam out of the energy of Stark's missiles. It's also the only known artifact to be able to shatter a gateway to the mirror dimension. The Time Stone was originally kept safe by the Masters of the Mystic Arts inside the Eye of Agamotto. Created by Earth's first Sorcerer Supreme, it was only ever used by Doctor Strange, when the Dark Dimension almost merged with Earth. Strange used his powers to rewind the assimilation and also trapped Dormammu within an infinite time loop. Strange had returned it to Kamatage until Maw and Kull Obsidian, on orders of Thanos, came to steal it. From here, Strange hid the stone with illusions and spells, but ultimately surrendered it to Thanos in exchange for Tony's life. The stone's powers manifest themselves as a dial of energy, allowing the user to scroll backwards and forwards through time, letting them redirect it. This effect can be contained to small objects like an apple or used to examine every possible outcome in a given timeline, as shown by Strange. He also managed to reverse the destruction of the Hong Kong Sanctum while excluding himself and Wong from the effect. The stone itself has a complete disregard for causality. It seems to also be able to manifest things from the past, such as when it reconstructed the pages of the Book of Cagliostro and then dematerialized them when Strange was done viewing. Thanos also used it to reverse the destruction of another Infinity Stone when he reversed Vision's death, and it perfectly remade the Mind Stone. The stone's effect on time is extremely sensitive and volatile. Even the slightest misuse can cause dangerous irregularities, which is why Wong warned Strange not to experiment with it on an apple. Remember Red Skull being sent to Vormir? Part of his punishment was guarding the Soul Stone, which he had done since 1945. This stone is the only one to not represent a fundamental function or concept of the universe, but instead, souls themselves. As such, to use it, one must sacrifice that which they love the most. For Thanos, it was Gamora. He has been the only user of it, as it's by far the most elusive stone. No one's ever seen it besides Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton, who went to Back to the Past Vormir, before Thanos came, to retrieve the stone, and even the Asgardians don't know anything about it. Its powers are mostly undefined. Thanos has used it to remove the souls from the Guardians. He was also able to find Doctor Strange amidst dozens of his copies by using the Soul and Power Stone together by tracking his soul, and he even pulled Strange's astral form out of his body. It's worth mentioning that the sacrifices used for the Soul Stone are permanent. Not even the 6 stones together could bring back Gamora. Despite this mystery and several others surrounding it, such as how it actually influences souls and the alarming lack of any documentation on it, the Soul Stone is regarded by many to be the most dangerous of them all.